Mr. Chair, may I ask a follow?
Please.
So, do you not have access to the CalVet and California DMV records to the extent that we have been able to collect any data to identify some small portion of the 2 million veterans we have in the state of California, or give or take?
I don't. The district attorney's office, the county veteran service officer does. So what we're doing now is we've created a system where if the person says, I'm a vet, they can hand it a form, they fill it out, they sign this military 100 form that's passed by the Judicial Council. It goes to the county veteran service officer, and then they can respond back to the court, and the court can take judicial notice of the fact that that person is a veteran.
But we depend on the individual to participate in the process. We should fix this. You all should. You can probably find out if I have a DUI, and you can't identify the fact that I'm a veteran or not.
No, we can't. That to me is one of those gaps in knowledge that we have still are relying on them to identify themselves. And it's placing a burden on the county veteran service officers to try to respond as quickly as possible to something that they weren't actually equipped to do. Those that have registered in the county before, it's pretty easy for them to look them up. Otherwise, they're calling numbers, they're trying to find this information out and trying to get a response back as quickly as they can to the court, prioritizing those persons that are in custody with the hopes that at least it could be something that can be discussed at a bail hearing.
And if I may, this is what I was alluding to earlier. I don't think I explicitly said the name of the software program, but the VA has developed a software program connected to the Department of Defense database of all 25 million U.S. military veterans. It's called Veterans Reentry Search Service. And so if a county jail or court opts to participate in this, we can identify every single veteran. It is not contingent upon the veteran identifying themselves. We can do it, but it requires the cooperation of the county participants. And so we are soliciting counties to partner with us in this way, but we've encountered quite a bit of resistance in doing it because it requires some effort on the part of the county, most usually the IT staff in the county.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see some nodding. Do you have any other comments? We need to move on, but to this point of Senator Roth's question, I saw a lot of nodding going on out there.
There's a group of us who have actually contacted CDCR to talk about this particular subject. What we've learned is that, sure enough, this VRSS program is being used in every facility CDCR runs. In fact, they consolidate in one great big statewide database, and they run this VRSS program against that. They're not finding the 8 or 9% that you would expect to find, so that this thing is imperfect thus far, but it's the best that we have for sure. But what I've learned is county jails, their IT systems vary all over the place. CDCR has a single IT system, and that was a single interface they had to develop with the VA. For the 58 counties, we're going to have to develop a number of different forms of interfaces, but we're not going to quit. We're going to try starting with the largest counties, and that's a program we have not yet kicked off.
Sounds like I guess I'm off. But it sounds like the courts can partner with the USDVA separately to obtain the data and not depend on a county sheriff in the jail system or the CDCR to step up to the plate. So you might want to investigate that with the Judicial Council and the Chief Justice and see if we can't figure out a way to make this work.
That's a good point, because when you do a county jail, of course, you only get people who are in the database who are actually in jail. And there's an awful lot of arrest and release, of course, for lesser crimes across California.
And more coming.
And more coming.
So it would seem to make sense for the court system to get involved in this and partner with USDVA so the public defenders, the district attorneys can access the system, or the judge himself or herself. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry.
Thank you to the members of the panel. Very, very helpful, and we've made linkages all the way through what all you do, what the judges are doing, and as well what the veteran service officers from our last hearing. We have one more panel. Thank you for being here with us. Those who would like to be now a part of this next panel, Randy Smith, the coordinator in Sacramento County, and some of our veterans and mentors who wish to come up.
We
we don't have enough room.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll, let's just let some testimony, then you can come on up. We'll
After Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And Mr.
okay, Mr. Smith, why don't you start?
My name is Randy Smith. I'm currently the president of Sacramento Stand Down Association, whose purpose is to help homeless and at-risk veterans, and I'm also the mentor coordinator for the Veterans Treatment Court here in Sacramento County. Right now, I just wanted to run down a couple of small items. Our mentors training right now here has been done locally by the public defender and the DA. We are currently going through webinar training, and in May we will be going through some special national training and certification to bring us up online with a lot of the other veterans treatment courts in the state that have gone through that. Our mentors, the biggest thing is establishing that trust and a bond between the veterans and the veteran participants and the mentors, and trying to help restore a lot of their confidence and feeling good about themselves. The biggest thing that I keep hearing through all the different younger veterans that we're encountering is that when they're departing military service, many of them feel alone, they feel unwanted, and they feel like they're being discarded. And we are hearing that all over. And that's it for mine, unless you have any questions.
We will probably shortly, but let's start here, sir.
My name is Douglas Mitten. I'm a mentor with the program. I am a board member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 500 here in Sacramento County. I placed on the counter there before you what we are using here in Sacramento County to help recruit more veteran mentors and to educate veterans about the program. I served in Korea from 1969 to 1970 with an artillery unit near the DMZ. I have post-traumatic stress disorder and 100% disability from the Veterans Administration. I've found that the local veterans treatment facilities that are run by CalVet and the county veteran service officers have been very instrumental in assisting me both with my claims and with mental health treatment for my PTSD.
Good. Sir, would you like to comment today? Identify yourself, if you would, for the record.
Okay, my name is Colin Nesbitt. I am an Iraq war veteran with PTSD. I'm rated at 70%. I was a forward observer for the United States Army. This is my mentor. I'm a mentee in the program in Sacramento County. I came into the program in July, and the program has helped me a lot. You know, as the man to my right stated, when leaving the military, I was my ETS date was July 18th, 2011. It was really hard adjusting to civilian life. It was almost like you were kind of just pushed out the front door. A lot of the benefits that were available to me as being honorably discharged from the military, I didn't know about. I had no idea about. I didn't even really know about the medical benefits, really. So I self-medicated with alcohol, which ended up leading me to get in trouble. You know, it ruined a marriage of mine. You know, the biggest complaint that I have with the military is just that the knowledge needs to be, these soldiers need to get the knowledge as they're, you know, ETSing out of the military. And I think it's a great idea that what they're doing for these soldiers with the Veterans Treatment Courts. You know, but I think at their end of time in service would be, you know, a real good time to let them know the benefits that are available to them, so they might be able to stop it before it gets to that point. So that's all I have to say.
What's the biggest thing that gives you hope?
The biggest thing that gives me hope?
Your mentor, I'm sure, Mr. Smith.
Well, yes, of course, my mentor, my fiance, the Veterans Affairs. Now that I know all the, you know, all the help that's there, you know. I didn't have a lot of hope before, you know. I came back from Iraq. I watched a friend almost die from a hand grenade blast. I have 3 TBIs. And I came back and I was married for 10 years to my high school sweetheart, you know. I joined the military because I used to play Army when I was a kid. So I thought, hey, you know, I was from New York. September 11th happened. I wanted to defend my country. I didn't think much of it. So, you know, I went, I said, you know, give me the biggest gun you guys got, you know, and they said, okay, you can be a forward observer. You can call in artillery and airstrikes. How's that sound? I said, that sounds great. So I became a forward observer, so that's what I did, you know, and it wasn't all what it cracked up to be, you know. So I came home and I was a completely different person. I started drinking whiskey. I was taking benzos. They put me on Ativan. And my ex-wife, she just totally did not know who I was at all. And she would try to talk to me. She tried to take the alcohol and the medication away from me. And I was just like I was like a wild animal, trying to take its bone away, like a dog trying to take a dog's bone away from him. And I wouldn't have it. So she couldn't deal with it. So she divorced me. So that happened, and it was just a snowball effect. I just wanted to continue to drink and take the medication. I didn't know what kind of benefits or mental health was out there. The Army was just kicking me out the door. It was just, so that's all I did. And I didn't want to live in reality because living in reality was too painful for me. Because I would have nightmares. I didn't know how to deal with anything. I didn't want to go to the store to shop. I'd want to go at midnight when nobody is around. I'd have to drink to go out in public. So, but now I take medication. I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. I don't use drugs. I don't do anything like that. I take medication. I'm here today. I'm talking in front of all you. I'm nervous right now. I took medication. Very well. I took medication this morning, so I don't have to get intoxicated to go anywhere. I'm receiving benefits that I'm entitled to receive. I have a fiance, and she works with me. She knows that I have problems and stuff like that, and she talks to me about it. So.
Thank you for being willing to be with us here today. We very much appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman.
Please go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Kent Wyatt. I'm a volunteer mentor in this program in Sacramento County. I'm a Vietnam veteran. Was diagnosed with PTSD, which is thankfully resolved. Maybe what I can offer to the committee is some of the practical things that I have seen mentors do and interact with the veterans, because it's amazing how much time and care the veterans at least, and I think in every program, dedicate to these veterans to help them. I happen to be the mentor to Mark Espinoza, who was the gentleman that Judge Abbott read, who made that moving statement in court. And it touched me, Mark's statement touched me, because not only am I a combat veteran with PTSD, but I also have lost a son. So because of all that, I thought maybe I would be a good fit for Mark. And what typically happens, I think, with the mentors is first we try to sit down with the veteran and get to know each other. What I did was I told him as much as I could about myself, and then I asked him questions about himself, his family, his goals, whatever. And what was particularly beneficial was that we were both combat veterans, because I'm almost 40 years older than he is. So from that perspective, there wasn't a whole lot in common generationally. But when we started talking about our combat experiences, we were totally bonded. The fear, the results, seeing your friends go down, all of that resonates between combat veterans, no matter what the war is. Then after you've gotten to know him some, what I think the mentors do, and I have done, is go to the house, meet the family. Mark has 2 gorgeous young daughters, and it's fun to interact with them. And that, I think, and in my situation anyway, the fact that I was interested in his daughters was a big factor in Mark taking more of a liking to me. Transportation is an issue with the mentors and the veterans, because in many situations, including mine, Mark doesn't have a car. He's trying to get one, but he has to take public transportation to take his daughters not only to school, but then pick them up from school. So he spends a lot of his time daily on the bus. So, you know, I've been driving him to appointments as much as I possibly can. Another thing, I guess, would be Mark has been given an 80% disability rating, and when I heard that, it just seemed to me, I said, if you're 80% disabled, why aren't you 100% disabled? It just didn't make any sense to me. And it just sounded like maybe it was some sort of a cost-saving measure. So what we have started is an appeal through the Disabled American Veterans to get his disability rating increased to 100%. And one last thing is Mark wants to go on and get a degree, probably at a junior college in communications. So I went to Consumnes Junior College, bought their course book, flagged all the pages that I thought were helpful for him, took a highlighter and, you know, lighted things for him, and then we sat down and went through the book, and I just pointed out the things that I thought would be good for him. And just as an aside, Consumnes is very interested in veterans. They have an office that's just for helping veterans. So when you go into that office, they're warm and welcome, and we'll sit down and help them choose the courses and go through the procedures as they need.
We're glad that your healing has been so successful and that you're passing that on to others.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
I just wanted to add one more thing. Myself, I'm also a disabled combat veteran from Vietnam. I did a tour and a half there, but I think one of the biggest things that we miss in society today, our younger men and women vets average 2 deployments or more. And there is quite a few people in our program who have been through 4 and 5 deployments in 8 years. And that's just, I mean, if you think of the issues and the problems our Vietnam veterans faced when they came home, these poor men and women are facing it 4 and 5 times that amount. And to me, that's just the fact that they're still standing and wanting to participate in programs like that is more admirable than anything. I can't fathom it at times that I don't think I would have the inner strength that some of these young men and women do.
Thank you for that additional information, Mr. Smith. And truly that's so, and they're very brave, and they need all the more mentoring and help. God love you all. Sir.
I'm Paul Richardson. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served during the 1991 Gulf War, and I also suffer from PTSD like most of the people sitting here do. And I'm doing a lot better now. It's treated, but it is a very insidious and disruptive health condition. And it took me a while to get better. It took probably 3 years of treatment before I started to do a lot better. And I'm a mentor with the program, and I mentor Jeff here. And I'll let Jeff talk to you now.
Okay. Jess or Jeff?
Jeff.
Jeff, please give us your last name too, Jeff.
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Galatioto. I'm a multi-combat veteran from the Marine Corps. I served from 2005 to 2013. I have PTSD, TBI, and on top of that, because of my TBI, I have manic migraines. This process has just been unreal to me. It's been a blessing in disguise because if I wouldn't have joined this process, I don't think I would be where I am today. I don't think that I would have strove to get the help that I needed, and that or even known where to look. And this whole process with the Veterans Treatment Court has shown me what avenues to go in, and the fact that I have a mentor that shares some of the same abilities that I have is also really helpful to me. Yeah, that's my piece for right now.
Jeffrey, let me hazard an observation. As I was watching you out there in the crowd, I saw that brow pretty wrinkled, and you looked a little bit nervous. You got up here, and the brow is not wrinkled anymore, and you don't appear as nervous. I hope you understand the gift that you're giving to others by having the courage to come up here today and talk with us and give us information that can be helpful to many others of you from the standpoint of the state legislature, okay? Obviously, your mentor will help you. You will be mentoring others. But I want to thank you very much for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Good afternoon. My name is Santos Espinosa. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. My story is the same as everybody else's. You know, after I was discharged, I didn't know where to go for help or try to find out what benefits I had or that I was eligible for. So after I got evaluated, I was diagnosed with extreme anxiety, extreme depression, and PTSD. Now, a lot of the problems that veterans have when they come back is we just don't know where to go to ask for help. We don't know what's available to us, where to go, or, you know, we're pretty much just kind of stuck out there and kind of just in limbo. Now, what we end up doing is we end up self-medicating, like a couple other gentlemen say, or we just live in a constant state of anxiety and stress, and those two things end up wearing really bad on our family and personal relationships. You know, they end up just totally wearing them down. And the thing I want to touch on that not that many people did was the support system that we receive here at the Veterans Court, which is absolutely second to none. about a week ago, I had, which I could only describe as like a total anxiety attack, and I reached out to Scott Franklin back there, who is a public defender. It's not even really his job to counsel us in that kind of fashion, but he sat there at about 9 o'clock at night and, talked with me for about a good 30 minutes, till he felt comfortable that I was in a better place. And after the conversation, I felt totally fine. And immediately after I spoke to him, my mentor called me, and it really feels good to know that we have those people there in our corner that we could rely on for, support, no matter what the issue is or whatever. We do have somebody to talk to, and it's really important that we realize that we have that. Even Leah Norzagari back there, who her job title is Veterans Justice Outreach Specialist. I was having a problem with childcare to make it to my anxiety classes at the Veterans Center, and she was a total rock star at trying to help me, figure out what to do for the childcare thing. So there's just so many good things about this program that is set up to help us, and that's what it's designed for. And I'm just really, really happy to be a part of it.
Sure. This gentleman is your mentor?
Yes, sir. This is
Please.
Kevin
Mr.
Sees.
Chair, may I ask a question before we
Yes,
proceed?
Senator Roth.
So thank you for your service. Thanks to all of you, frankly, for your service. You're not the first one to mention during this hearing, when you were discharged, you didn't know your benefits, and when you were shown the door. What was your base of separation? What was your final station?
Where was I stationed?
Where was your final station? Where did
Luke
you?
Air Force Base, Arizona.
Luke. Did they have a transition, what do they call it, TAPS, Transition Assistance Program?
They did have something like that set up, but it wasn't, I guess we weren't really encouraged to do it. It was kind of like I was discharged and that was it. I had to find out through, I had two sisters who are still enlisted. I had to find out through them, well, hey, you should go to the VA and talk to somebody and be evaluated. And so that's what I did. I didn't even get approved for my benefits till, what was it, 2010?
That's my concern.
It was about 8 years later to where I actually started getting benefits.
Since you were in Arizona, did the Arizona Department of Veterans Affairs, were there state representatives there presenting during the TAPS program?
I really don't recall. I don't remember.
Apparently not effectively.
No.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Osceola, you seemed like you wanted to jump in here.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that. From what I've heard, the TAPS program has gotten a lot better, but as of what you were talking about, no, not really. They don't really address a lot of the issues that the veterans are having when we get out. The main issue that they're addressing now pretty much is the fact that they're starting to realize that a lot of the veterans are getting out and not having employment. So now they have, I know when I went through TAPS, they had Department of Rehabilitation come to the TAPS program and give us seminars on how to do resumes and things like that. But like a lot of our medical issues, things like that, they do not address at the TAPS at all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sir, did you have things on?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kamal Hamdi. I'm a Desert Storm veteran, and I've lived with PTSD, combat-related PTSD, untreated for 26 years. And my combat experience pales in comparison to a lot of these gentlemen in the audience and sitting up here at the table. But I'll be the first to say that it's important that we treat veterans immediately upon coming out of the service. I'm one of those that fell through the cracks. I didn't go to TAPS. I didn't receive an out-processing physical. And so as the years went by, my condition compounded. It just got worse because untreated, I was out there. I was, getting into trouble. I wasn't building bridges. I was tearing them down. And it wasn't until I got in a little incident here recently that I ended up in the Veterans Court. And like this gentleman said, it's a blessing in disguise. Because as a budding psychologist myself, I thought I had a grip on this. I thought, well, you know, I've read all the textbooks on this. You know, I've listened to all the professors. And, you know, I kind of stuffed all this. And I wasn't capable of getting that help I needed myself. I needed someone to reach out to me. And I think the Veterans Court is that someone. Otherwise, I would have fallen through the cracks.
What county?
Sacramento.
Sacramento County.
Yes.
So that's a fairly new program. You've just interfaced it?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And how did you find out about this when you went into the courtroom?
Well, I found out about I found out about it the hard way.
That's how
I had to
when you went
stand
into
in
the
front of the
courtroom.
man.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Judge Abbott. You know, he's completely changed my view of the legal system. I once viewed the legal system as this really dark place that wasn't out there to help people, that it did more damage than it did good. And I think what the Veterans Court does, aside from helping veterans, it changes that stigma of going into the court system and, you know, you're this bad person and they're going to lock you up and throw away the key. Because we know from, you know, evidence, research, that sending someone to prison doesn't rehabilitate them. It typically makes them worse. And when you throw a veteran, a combat veteran, into a prison, that's like sending them back to another theater of operations.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for your efforts.
Well, we applaud you for all of yours. Our job, the members of the legislature, are trying to be as helpful as we can. And we are more helpful based on the more informed that we are. And all of you have exhibited a lot of courage, too, today. I know you've had the courage to serve in the military and to serve in combat. But in some ways, it's almost as courageous to come and be in a big room like this, isn't it, and tell your story. And I hope that you would feel that that's a part of your healing and improving. It certainly is helpful and instructive to all of us.